Hi everybody and welcome to a Grimdark Future Battle Report. Dark Prime Brothers versus Orcs. Captain Kazrel of the Dark Brothers looked at the Orc barricades from the distance. There should be no Orcs, at least not according to the latest intelligence from the sector. But somehow the Orcs had arrived and managed to establish simple defense barricades on the planet without the attention of the Dark Brothers surveillance units. That itself was a disaster. But what's even worse was that the Dark Brothers were already spotted by the Orcs and they were hopelessly outnumbered. It was too late to turn back now. The 16 Dark Prime Brothers must now face 32 Orcs to get off this planet and to survive. Captain Kazrel is a Dark Prime Master with a tough value of 3. He is armed with a Master Heavy Pistol and an Energy Sword, and being a Captain, he has the ability Battle Rites that give him and his unit +1 when shooting. He's joined to a unit of Dark Prime Brothers, all of them armed with auto rifles. Then we have a Dark Desolator squad. They are all armed with HE launchers. Keeping the engines running, we have a group of Dark Prime Bikers. They all have a tough value of 3, they are fast, and they are armed with heavy pistols and also twin heavy rifles. And finally, a Dark Prime ATV, also fast, impact 3, scout strider, a tough value of 6, armed with twin heavy rifle and a Gatling gun. All the Dark Brothers are grim. The Orcs are led by a boss leader. He's a bad shot, of course, furious, he has a tough value of 3, and then he has commando gear, so he has scout, stealth, and strider. And he's also a gun freak armed with boss pistol and ultra axe. And he's joined to a group of ultra bosses armed with carbines and 1 heavy flamer, 2 ultra axes and 1 ultra claw. The backbone of the Orc army is an Orc mob. They are armed with 8 pistols, 1 heavy machine gun and 1 flamer, 8 close combat weapons and 2 ultra saws. Almost hidden behind a huge rock is a group of commandos. They are furious, they have stealth and strider, they are armed with 4 pistols and 1 heavy machine gun. All the way in the back of the Orcs deployment zone is a group of specialist Orcs. They are furious and they are shooty, and they are armed with 3 rocket launchers. Finally, we have 2 boss mobs. The first group of 5 is furious. They have a mad doctor that gives them regeneration. They are armed with 5 pistols and 5 ultra axes. And the other boss mob is exactly the same, with one exception. Instead of 5 ultra axes, they are armed with 4 and 1 ultra claw. And of course, all the Orcs are bad shots. There are 2 objectives on the battlefield just outside the deployment zones. The main mission is sabotage. Then we have side missions where both armies have chosen defend, ground war and slay. And the bonus side mission for the Orcs is onslaught, and for the Dark Brothers it's attrition. The main mission and each of the side mission objectives gives 1 victory point. So in this battle there is a total of victory points between 0 and 5. The battle will last 4 rounds. And with all that out of the way, let's get to the roll-off. The Orcs will roll the green dice and the Dark Prime Brothers will roll the black dice. Good roll by the Orcs. It's a 5. The Dark Brothers roll a 2. This battle will begin with the Orcs. But before we start, several units have the scout ability, so they will perform their moves first. The commando Orc unit will move forward. That will bring them closer to the Dark Prime Brothers. And the brothers will also use the scout moves of the ATV. Not that far though. Let's go to round 1. The Orcs are eager to get forward, so the Orc mob here will activate first. They will advance and they will guard their own objective. And then one of them, the machine gunner, has a range long enough to fire at the ATV. and he will hit with one of his shots. The shot is AP1, so the ATV unit must roll a 3 to defend. And they do. Captain Kazrel commands his Desolator squad forward. They take cover behind the rocks and then they fire their launchers against one of the orc mobs. They have 10 shots and they will hit on a 3. So plenty of hits. 6 hits, but the weapons are AP nothing, so the orcs will defend not with force but rolls of 3 because they are in cover behind the barricades. So they will save all of the shots except 2 of them. But they have a mad doctor, so we'll have to roll for regeneration first, and none of the regeneration attempts are good, so 2 orcs will be shot down. The orc commandos move next. They advance 6 inches, and that takes them just within 12 inches of the ATV. They can fire 4 pistols and 1 heavy machine gun, and they will hit with their usual 5. Let's see what they can do. Oh, not bad. 4 hits. The machine gun hit will be AP1, so the ATV must save with a 3, and that's fine. And then the pistol shots, they will save with 2. They have excellent armor, and they will save all of the hits. Now the bikers will activate. They have the speed and they have the range. They can advance up to 8 inches and they will do so and guard the objective. And from this position, they will split their fire into 2 groups. 6 twin heavy rifle shots against the orc mob, and they will begin and hit with rolls of 3. There will be 4 hits. The orc mob will have to come up with 6s to defend, and there is 1 good roll, but also 3 orc casualties. Then the bikers will fire their 3 heavy pistols at the orc commandos. They can split their fire with 2 different weapon groups, so 3 shots, also hitting on a roll of 3, and 2 of them will hit. And the commandos also need a really good roll to block the shots. In the end, 1 orc commando will be shot. The boss mob here cannot reach any of the Dark Brothers with a charge, so they will advance instead, and from this position they will fire their 5 pistols. The Desolator squad is their target. 5 shots, and they will hit on 5, and there is 1 hit, but the Desolator squad is also in cover, so they will need a roll of 1 to fail this. And, well, close, but they are successful. Now Captain Kazrel will move along with his Dark Prime brothers. They will move out on the open battlefield. Again, they have 2 weapon types and they will split their shots. All of the Dark Brothers auto rifles will target the orc mob, and they will hit on 2 because of Captain Kazrel's battle rights. And that's 9 hits against the orc mob. They will have to come up with a lot of 5 and 6s. And only 2 of those. So that will give 7 hits. And 7 orcs will go down. And that is exactly the number of remaining orcs in the mob. So the orc mob is eliminated. Captain Kazrel himself will arm his master heavy pistol at the commandos. He will also hit with a roll of 2. He has 2 shots. And of course, he will hit with AP1. It will take a 6 to get out of this one for the commandos. But, yeah, really close. But 2 orc commandos will be hit. The commando group is now below half strength. They will have to pass a morale test. They will need a 4. And they are good. The commandos will stay on the battlefield and they are not even shaken. The ultra bosses and the leader realize that it's not a good idea to be out in the open, but they also have to get closer. They cannot outshoot the Dark Brothers. They'll have to get into close combat. Final Dark Brother unit to activate is the ATV, and it will advance and fire the twin heavy rifle at the orc commandos and the Gatling gun on the orc mob here. First, 2 twin heavy rifle shots against the commandos, and they will fail them both. No hits. Then they will fire the Gatling gun. The Gatling gun has a range of 18 inches, and there are 6 shots. They will hit on a 3, and that's way better. 5 hits. That could potentially take out the entire Orc group, but they are in cover behind the fallen tree. They only need 3s to block. They will defend all the shots except for 1. But they have a mad doctor. Maybe he can do... No regeneration. So 1 Orc is hit by the Gatling gun. The Orcs will not leave their objective unguarded. So this Orc mob will first advance. But from this position they cannot really target any of the Dark Brothers. Instead they will choose to rush and move their entire distance of 12 inches. They will still stay on the objective to guard it. And as the last unit to activate in the first round, the Orc specialists will advance. They will still stay somehow in cover, and their rockets, at least one of their rockets, can target a Desolator. So let's see if the rocket can hit anything. It will be deadly if it hits, but I don't know where that rocket will end up, but not somewhere near the Desolator squad. And that was the end of the first round. The Dark Brothers took out a lot of Orcs from the distance, and they didn't have 1 casualty themselves, but now the Orcs are closer. But the Dark Brothers will activate first in round number 2. The Desolator squad will activate first. They are not close combat specialists, but still they move right into the middle of the battlefield. And here they can target the group of specialist Orcs. They are a really dangerous target that can do a lot of damage with their rockets. So they will, of course, try to get them out of the way. This time they will hit with 8 HE launcher shots, and it takes 5 to get out of that. And, well, I don't even want to count those failed defense rolls. There are only 3 specialist Orcs, and now they are no more. The boss mob guarding the objective will now go straight for the head of the snake. So the 3 Orcs will charge Captain Kazrel and his group of Dark Prime Brothers. They will have 6 attacks with their Ultra Axes, and they are AP1. They really look for 6s because they are furious though, and none of those. Still, they will have 4 Axe hits, AP1. So that will force the Dark Prime Brothers to come up with 3s, and they fail 3 of their defense rolls. 3 Dark Brothers will be cut down by the Orc Axis. Now they will have to fight back. The 2 remaining Dark Brothers have 1 close combat attack, and Captain Kazrel has his energy sword. And that's bad. Captain Kazrel will not hit anything, but the 2 Dark Brothers will, and they will take down 2 Orcs in their return strike. And they will also fail their regeneration. So 1 Orc left, but still he will win the battle with 3 versus 2 wounds. So Captain Kazrel and his Dark Brothers must now pass a morale test. And they will. Brutal Orc attack, but they have also left their objective unguarded. Now the ATV will move. They will reach the objective and claim it with an advance move, and then they will fire against the Ultra Bosses. 6 Gatling gun shots, and wow, that's bad. 5 of them will fail to hit anything. At least the twin heavy rifle shots will be precise, but that's only 3 hits, and they are in cover behind the barricades and the rock. They'll have to roll a 3 to defend the Gatling gun, so 1 hit, and then they will have to roll a 4 to defend the twin heavy rifle, and they will do that. So in the end, only 1 wound to 1 of the Ultra Bosses. That's only a scratch. Now would be a great time to get out of cover and do something for the Orc leader. He and his group of Ultra Bosses will charge the ATV. They attack with 6 Ultra Axes, and they are AP 1 and 1 Ultra Claw with 3 attacks, and that's AP 4. And of course, if they roll 6, the Ultra Axe hits will be Rending, and they will also be Furious. And wow. So far, 6 Ultra Axe hits, and 2 of them will be Rending, and then the Ultra Claw with 2 additional hits. And that's not Rending, but still it's AP 4. I highly doubt the ATV will survive this, but at least they will try. They will first block the regular Ultra Axe attacks, and there will already be 2 hits. The ATV has a tough value of 6. Then the Rending hits, and they will not save any of those. So 4 hits so far. Now the Ultra Claw. That will also take defense rolls of 6, and, well, it's over for the ATV, and there would even be 2 more Furious hits, but that's not necessary. The ATV is history. The Orc leader really stepped out of the shadows. He claimed the objective, and he destroyed the ATV with a brutal charge. How will the Dark Brothers react to this? So far, they will forget about the Orc leader and the objective, and they will send the Dark Prime Bikers to shoot at this Orc mob, and they will fire everything they have. Heavy pistols and twin rifles. They all hit with a roll of 3, and they are all AP 1. So they will send 7 shots against the Orc mob. This time, they are not in cover. They will have to roll 5s. So let's see if they can get out of that one. They will dodge only 1 shot, so that will give 6 hits still. The Mad Doctor will have to perform a miracle. On a 5 or a 6, he can stitch back some of the Orcs, and there are 2 good regeneration rolls, but that still leaves 4 hits, and that's enough to eliminate the boss mob. The 2 remaining Orc commandos have been under the radar for some time now, so they decide to charge Captain Kazrel and his group, and they will also at the same time claim the objective. They have 4 close combat attacks. They will hit on 4s, and they will hit with 3 of them, and 1 of them is a Furious hit. That's a total of 4 hits. Unfortunately, they are AP nothing, so the brothers will save with 2s, and they will save them all. No wounds taken. Now they can fight back, but they have already fought, so they will only hit with rolls of 6. Captain Kazrel and his group, they are fatigued, and they will hit at least with 1 of the close combat attacks. The commandos must roll a 5, and they will fail that defense roll, so 1 out of the 2 commandos will be taken down, and that will leave 1 commando with a morale check. If he fails here, he will get as far away as possible, but he is brave enough to stay, and he will guard the objective. Question is for how long? The Dark Brothers and Captain Kazrel will now move back. Do I see a retreat here? They are now on the objective, so they can contest it, and the Dark Brothers will fire at the commando. Captain Kazrel will fire at the boss mob Orc. And there will be 1 hit. That's incredibly bad. When you hit on a 2 with 4 shots and only manage to hit once. But it looks like 1 hit was enough. The last Orc commando bites the dust. And the Dark Brothers now have full control over the objective. Now the captain fires his master heavy pistol, and he will hit the remaining boss mob Orc twice. He will save 1 of the hits, but the other one will go through. Let's see his regeneration. Mad Doctor, no. He is also eliminated. Both forces are now very close to the center of the battlefield. The Dark Brothers have completed their side mission Attrition, and the Orcs have completed their Onslaught side mission. Now we'll have to see how things will progress in the third round. This time the Orcs will begin, and the Ultra Bosses and the leader will go straight for the Bikers. Another brutal Orc charge. Can they remove all 3 Bikers? Again, they will have 8 Ultra Axe attacks and 3 with the Ultra Saw. And they will hit with all of them on a roll of 3. And they are, of course, hoping for a lot of 6s. That will give them additional furious attacks, and we have several rolls of 6 here. Only 1 axe and 1 saw attack will not hit. 3 of the axe attacks will be rending, and they will also give an additional furious attack. Only the original rolls of 6 will be rending. The Bikers will begin with the rending and the ultra claw hits. They will need 6s to defend any of those hits. 5 rolls of 6 at least to save something, and they fail each and every one of them. So far, 5 hits. The remaining 7 Ultra Axe hits will take rolls of 3 to defend. And that's way better. 2 of these attacks will still hit, so that's a total of 7 wounds to the Bikers. That will take 2 of the Bikers straight out and leave the remaining Biker with 1 wound. He can, of course, fight back. 2 close combat attacks, and he will hit with them both. They are AP nothing, they will take force to defend, and the Orcs will fail both of them. So 1 Ultra Boss will take 2 wounds to the one he already has, and he's out. That doesn't change the fact that the Biker will lose this battle. He will pass his morale test though, and the Orcs for sure have earned their Onslaught side mission. The Desolator squad will advance towards the Orc barricades. They have 2 goals. The first is to shoot as many Orcs as possible, and the second one is to prevent the Orcs from scoring their defense side mission. 10 shots with HE launchers, and they will miss 3 of those shots. 7 shots will find their target. It's AP nothing. The Orcs defend with force, and that was a really bad defense roll for once. 5 hits, that will take out 1 Ultra Boss immediately and leave 1 Ultra Boss with 2 wounds along with his leader. They are down to half strength now, and they are really outnumbered. Can the leader pass his morale test? Yes, they will keep on fighting. Captain Kazrel and his remaining Dark Brothers will advance. They will still be close to the objective, but they are within firing range, so they can fire their auto rifles and the Master Heavy Pistol. Once again with battle rights, they will hit on a 2. And this time, they will actually hit. 4 rifle shots, 2 Master Heavy Pistol shots. Is this the end of the Orcs? They will save the auto rifle shots first with rolls of 4. 1 of them is not defended, and that is enough to remove the final Ultra Boss. Only the leader is now left on the battlefield, and he still faces 2 Master Heavy Pistol shots. He'll have to come up with rolls of 5. He defends 1 of the shots from Captain Kazrel, the other one will hit him. So is now the time to call it a day? No, he will pass his morale test in style. But it's not over yet. The final remaining Biker will advance 8 inches all around the leader and to the back of the Orc barricades, and he will contest the objective. From this position, he can fire his own and the bike's weapons. That's 3 shots. More than enough to remove the orc. He will only hit with 1 of them. Now let's see if the orc boss can defend that shot. He will not take any more in this round. No further wounds. He is still on the battlefield, and he will activate first in the 4th and final round. Question is, can he do anything? He had 31 orcs fighting at his side, and now he's left alone. Round 4. The orc leader faces overwhelming odds, but he does not give up. His only chance is to remove Captain Kazrel and even take the objective as well. And to do that, he will have to assault the captain and his unit. So he will begin with 2 shots, and he will not hit. He is an orc after all. And then he will complete his charge with his Ultra Axe, and he will have to pray for 6s. He will hit on a 4, but he needs more than 2 hits. And he will roll 1 6. Unfortunately, only 1 hit, and that will be doubled. So 2 attacks and 2 hits. And the first one will eliminate 1 Dark Brother. The other one is not Rending, so that will only take a roll of 3. And they will defend that hit. That was worth a try. Now, the Dark Brother will fight back. He must roll a 4 to defend. No, so he will take 1 more hit. And that means that if Captain Kazrel will hit him with 1 of his 2 energy sword attacks, the orc leader is finished. And there is 1 hit. It's AP1. It takes a 5 for the leader to survive. And he will survive that attack, but question is, for how long? That was his chance to do something. He will move back, and by doing so, he will so far prevent the ground war mission. But yeah, the Dark Brothers of course have all their activations, and Captain Kazrel will step forward and aim his master heavy pistol at the orc leader, and he will hit him twice. And this time, the orc leader cannot defend the bullets. He will be shot down on the battlefield, and the orc threat is over. At the end of turn 4, the Dark Brothers have completed all the main and side missions. They have sabotaged the objective, completed defend, ground war, and attrition, and finally Captain Kazrel managed to slay the orc leader as well. 5 victory points to 1. It's a clear victory for the Dark Prime Brothers. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you'll join me for future bad reps.